Hello and welcome to a brand new installment of Nintendo News Report for Friday, August 24th, 2018. I'm your host, Alexander Kalafi, joined today by a full panel of exactly one other Nintendo News reporter. Hi, Donald.
Hi, yeah, it's August. I spent 11 hours on a train yesterday, and boy, are my arms tired.
What were you doing?
It was just coming home. I was coming home from my parents' place, and they and let's just say I brought a lot of things back with me, so much so that they slapped the heavy tag on the luggage.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, we were gonna have a Zach and a Justin, but Justin was very last minute, and then Zach has his parents coming out, so it'll be us holding down the ship. But hey, I got a webcam, first time for everything, huh? It's a first webcam of the summer.
Yeah,
Miss my nice face. Yeah, let's talk about news. There's not a ton of super crazy stuff as far as like big news stories. Like the Pokemon World Championship stuff this morning was a bust. Well, except if you're into the trading card game, there was a big announcement. But if like there was nothing related to the games except the games are the Let's Go's are playable, and then Detective Pikachu got reconfirmed for May 2019, and then it showed the poster, and basically Pokemon Company's like, hey, we're acknowledging this exists now. Hey, that would have been a great announcement if it wasn't like such known information
yeah,
that this movie was a thing.
yeah. The fact that that's what they chose to bust out at the World Championships kind of goes to show that. I don't think they really want to emphasize Let's Go to the kind of crowd that would go to a World Pokemon Championships.
Yeah, except they would have liked to see the new Pokemon. Like I thought that's what they were going to show off this year.
Well, there is always the closing ceremony on Sunday. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, uh, I think about the World Championships 2015, I think, which is what I went to, or was it 2016? I
It
went to the
was
one in
15.
Boston. Okay, it was 15, and they showed off the Pokken tournament console version for the first time, which was like kind of exciting. But
Yeah,
yeah,
at the very least, they usually they tend to have something like a new Mega or a new Pokemon being announced if there's a game to talk about. But
what was last year's?
uh, f- I don't know if it was like something with the Battle Tree. Let me see, 2017. Yes. Yeah, I can't. I don't think it could have been that big though, because it's not really coming up on the not really coming up here on the Googles here. So I think it might have just been some like a minor feature for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon at the most.
Okay. So, all right. So that's the Pokemon Worlds for this year. But tell me a little bit about the NPDs.
So July, well, it helps when you're the only company who's releasing anything in July. But yeah, Nintendo kind of walked all over the July NPDs. They had their highest hardware sales, keeping in mind that that includes the classics, since 2009, which in that month they sold about 850,000 between Wii and DS. So between the Switch, I think the leaked number for that was in about the 250 range, and then the 3DS and the classics picking up the rest of it. That yeah, the Switch was the top selling platform, both in terms of money and units. And there were 11 games on Switch in the top 20, and
Mm-hmm.
Octopath was your number one. So
Yeah. It's the Switch is killing it.
yeah,
Breaking news.
Switch selling quite well. It was even enough that Captain Toad managed to make the top 20, even though it wasn't a full price game on any platform. But,
Yeah.
but what the
Yeah.
hell? What the hell? How did Crash Bandicoot get into fourth on this
Uh,
list? Because it's also a $40 game, as far as I know.
Crash Bandicoot, the remakes are very, very good. And I think putting them on Switch likely helped that out a lot. Just making it handheld, making it on a Nintendo system. I mean, the last Nintendo Switch game, the last Nintendo Crash games I remember that wasn't like Crash Mind Over Mutant or Crash of the Titans were those cool GBA games. So
Yeah. Although although I think it's because the when they do the top 20, it's a combined thing. So we see Crash up at number 4, so it's also probably doing really well on Xbox and picking up some residual PS4 sales as
yeah,
well because Crash did make the Switch top 10, but it was like number 8
right.
behind all the Nintendo stuff.
Yeah. Um. So Nintendo had another month. Do we know how the restocks are doing? Did they do more restocks?
I know they were. I think that a lot of what sold at the end of June, I think, was stuff that was already in the channel, because I know that the stuff that we've seen, like the stuff that was on the shelves at the end of June, that was pretty much gone
Mm-hmm.
from earlier in the month. But I think they are doing. They've pretty much got it nailed at this point. Like they should have it nailed that they're consistently putting switches into the channel. So I don't think this like I think this is about the time last year when you stopped hearing about switch shortages being a thing.
Mm-hmm. I hope the Super Nintendos come back in the same way the NES did.
Because I think I still see one or two on the shelf at the local Walmart, but that's a very small sample size.
I feel like after there was that like week period where all the NESs came back, I feel like I don't see them anymore.
Hmm.
Um,
I still have to go and get mine, but I've my something's holding up my bonus at work, so we'll see how that goes.
Cherry Goblin asks a better question to the Crash thing is why did Crash come back at all? And the answer is I have no idea, but it was probably nostalgia, and the remakes are great, so hopefully
No,
they make a new one someday.
there's no accounting for taste.
Yeah, no accounting for taste. All right, so there's that. And then on the 28th, Nintendo is going to be holding an indie showcase.
Yeah,
Um,
which will be their second showcase in 8 days. They
yeah, the
had
first one had Windjammers 2.
now that was a megaton.
Wasn't it made by the same people who ported
Yeah,
like an added netcode to the first Windjammers?
yeah, it's being done by Dotemu, who's the group that they handled the port to originally PS4 and Vita, and then they have the Switch version coming out later this year.
Yeah.
And apparently Windjammers went anime, which which I suppose if you're going to go anime and appeal to Giant Bomb, you might as well go all out.
You might as well.
But they also dropped 3 games on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Morphe's we were wondering about where the heck Morphe's Law was, and that came out along with Bad North, which I believe we have a review of that on the site, and also Prison Architect.
Mm.
I will say no more about that.
I have that game on Steam, but I never got around to playing it. People seem to like it quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think our review's still in progress, but we from impressions that I've read on prominent internet message boards, shall we say, that it runs very well on Switch,
Mm.
full touch support and everything.
I look forward to the indie showcase that will reveal that Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes is actually coming out in summer 2019.
I because the way I'm wondering, like maybe there's one or two repeats in that I don't know, but I think what we'll probably end up seeing out of that is probably Travis Strikes Again. Undertale's probably going to get a date because it has a date for Japan, and
Mm-hmm.
I would think that would come out worldwide probably simultaneously, and a Shovel Knight date, and then after that, I have no clue because they've talked about multiple unannounced games being revealed on Tuesday.
Yeah. Elma's being added to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I believe was leaked at some point.
I think I don't know if it got leaked or data
Or
mined, but
data mined. That's
yeah,
more accurate.
yeah, but the update for that's out now. Much like Shulkin Fiore, you have to beat her in challenge mode, but once
Well,
you
you
do,
don't beat her, you have to beat the right mission in challenge mode, and I think then you get her.
yeah. Although the trailer they showed for it did show you actually are fighting her. at
Mm.
some point, I believe. So yeah, but once you beat the appropriate challenge mode mission, you'll have her in your party. You'll also unlock one of the best battle themes in Xenoblade Chronicles X for use in 2,
What
which
was it? Uh, Go ahead.
it's called Uncontrollable.
Okay.
And it is like number 3 on my list of JRPG battle themes on Nintendo systems that would also work as wrestling entrance music.
You ever play? You ever get any further in Xenoblade 2?
Not really. Just it, I didn't really have time this week because I completed the New Brunswick Triple Crown this week with my parents. So
That's cool. That's a very Canadian thing.
yeah, well, it helps when you're somehow going through all 3 of the major cities in a province in one day.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Uh,
they also added they also added swimsuits in that update because sure, why not? And that has of course set the various subreddits on fire.
um, this Gamescom 2018 presentation on Xenoblade 2 Torn of the Golden Country. That was like an E3 style treehouse demo, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, they showed some little bit of new footage, but didn't I don't think anything major was revealed because I think the big reveal was meant to be Elma.
I mean, yeah, it comes out in 3 weeks anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, and we should have the video going up here shortly for I know for the patrons. I think it might be up now that we have comparison because they showed some new footage of Daemon X Machina.
Yeah. Telltale series is coming on to Switch by the end of this year.
Yeah,
Season one's August 28th. That's a great thing. And season two's coming later this year. Season
yeah.
one also contains 2013's 400 Days expansion. Did they say anything about season three? Just this year, probably.
The only thing that they mentioned we should clarify this is for The Walking Dead. They did not mention season 3 in the note we got. I'm assuming they're waiting until 1 and 2 are out the door first. Although
Um,
my understanding of, admittedly, I don't do zombie games, so I didn't really
yeah.
play Walking Dead beyond seeing Lee figure skate in the first one on the Xbox 360. Uh, I'm pretty sure we could probably skip 3 and nothing really major would happen that would carry into 4.
Incorrect, actually, if you'd believe it or not. It's even though they kind of position it as like a new beginning kind of thing. Season After season two, there's a big time skip, and after season three, there's a big time skip. And Clementine sort of takes the lead role. Well, she takes one of the lead roles in three, um, and I believe parts of it follow directly after three. I'm guessing that if they're serious about putting the whole series on Switch, they're also going to have to port three.
Yeah, I think they have to do 3 and Macron, was that the one that followed? Was that the lead into season 3? Because I know it had a 400 days style expansion. 2 had a expansion similar to 400 days, but like I said, the 2 is about the point where the sort of dropped out of the zeitgeist enough that I would
I don't
follow it on a
remember it
regular
having
basis.
anything like that actually. I don't. Yeah, I think the DLC was only a season one thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I don't remember playing anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, season one was amazing. Season two, I liked Kenny, but I know a lot of people didn't like the season. Season three was decent. Oh, you know what it was? There was the Michonne expansion. That's the one that was very skippable because that one like ties into the comic books more than anything else.
Okay.
Chair Goblin asked Donald thoughts on Fire Emblem Heroes music and Smash.
Not surprised. I guess they're not going to do the concept of the summoning gun as a third way to get more Fire Emblem characters in the game, but that kind of cool that they're acknowledging the music that I've heard so often as being worthy of inclusion in Smash.
Right, right. John Reardon, Mr. Director, video man himself. Damon X Machina video will be up tomorrow, unless you're a patron, in which case check your inbox. And then NSA Penguin OT. Who do you guys want to main in Ultimate? What's your feeling, Donald?
I'm probably going to go with my as much as I wanted to work with Shulk. I I think I'm going to try them out with a new switching mechanic, but I'm probably just going to fall back on my troll team of Wendy Koopa and the Duck Hunt Duo.
Yeah, Duck Hunt Duo is so good. The smash attacks on Duck Hunt Duo are the Captain Falcon Punch of smash attacks to me.
Yeah.
As in, I
Although,
think they're just so satisfying. Go ahead.
yeah, but I might also take Crom for a spin because he seems to be he I don't because I usually if I'm trying to play seriously I'll play with Ike,
Hmm.
but he's a little too slow for my liking, so I want to see how Crom feels as well,
Yeah,
because I think there's going to be some competition involved in that, which we probably will get into off air.
yeah, yeah. Duck Hunt Dog for sure. I'm interested in Snake, of course. I'm interested in Pichu, and I'm interested in Mecha Ridley probably. I think Mecha Ridley is going to be real nice.
Yeah, and I'm for all I know, my main still hasn't been announced for Ultimate as of yet. We'll see.
Yeah. THQ Nordic is porting Saints Row the Third to Switch,
You should play
and
Saints Row the Third.
Saints Row the Third is an amazing game. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm very interested in playing a handheld version of that game. Saints Row the Third is one of the most pure fun games of last generation for sure.
Yeah, and I think it was raised in the comments on our news story about why isn't Saints Row 4 coming over, but this port's actually being done by a new studio that formed inside of Deep Silver, which is now a THQ Nordic subsidiary, as that mass continues to reform. So I think if this does well, they'll take a shot at doing it. But since Saints Row 4 was really designed for PS4, Xbox One, it might be a trickier
Weren't
port.
those actually designed for PS3, Xbox 360 originally? Because I played the PS3 version of Saints Row 4. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, but I remember that thing chugged pretty hard on the older consoles.
Even though the newer ones came out like a year or so later, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saints Row 4 was good. It wasn't as good as 3. I think putting 3 over was the right choice, at least as the first decision.
Yeah. And and also the plot of 3 directly leads into 4.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why I think they'd want to get that one out of the way first.
The Saints Row 3 into Saints Row 4 and to Get Out of Hell into Agents of Mayhem is just absurd.
Yeah, that it's all a bit of a downhill approach because three was incredibly well received, incredibly good game. 4 a little bit lesser, maybe Got Out of Hell redeemed it, but then Agents of Mayhem just fell apart.
Alex is channeling TRBR says Alex is channeling his Joe Rogan. Hey, yeah, pull that mic up close. Hey, Jamie, look that up. What other Joe Rogan things? So I was in my sensory deprivation tank the other day and taking ayahuasca, and I was using my mushrooms and and doing MMA, and here's a story about how a breathing technique can actually change your life forever from Joe the Tree Man. So that's Joe Rogan podcast. I actually love the Joe Rogan Experience. I think it's one of the nutsest shows that's on YouTube. I Any comparison to Joe Rogan, I consider to be an extreme compliment.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. Donald, the next story is A Hat in Time. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's a 3D platformer, very good Kickstarter story. Raised about 10, I think, several times over its intended target. Came out on PC last year and PS4 and Xbox One, now coming to Switch. No release date, and I believe one description I saw of it was it's what Ukulele was going for.
Mm, okay.
Very cute. I'm trying to remember. Is this the one that had the shall we say controversy with one of its voice actors?
I
I
think
think.
that was also ukulele.
Oh right, yeah.
I don't know. That's and goofy internet stuff.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
um,
but again, good to see N64 inspired 3 platformers coming to Switch.
yeah, it's good they exist. Does Hat in Time have a bad camera? I played it for a couple hours. It seemed I remember the camera being iffy. I remember it as a platformer. I think I do remember enjoying it more than the 2 hours or so I spent with Ukulele. So,
Yeah, and I think they at the same time they announced the Switch version, they announced that they were doing some PC expansions.
mhm.
No word on if those are going to come to Switch at some point, but I don't. Those were only announced for PC. They didn't even mention them coming to consoles, so we'll see how
Mm,
that goes.
okay. Luigi's Mansion's launching on October 12th in North America, which is right before Halloween, 19th and 20th for Europe and
For
Australia, respectively, $39.99.
Yeah, and definitely getting out of the way of a certain horse game that comes out on the 26th.
Yeah, it's that's similar to the no, the release dates are too far apart, but it reminds me of the infamous uh Wonderful 101 coming out 2 days. Was it after Grand Theft Auto
No, I
5?
think because Wonderful 101 that was back when Nintendo put their games out on Sunday, so it came out on like the 15th, and then
Oh, it was
GTA
2 days
5
before.
2
Yeah.
days before, and we wonder why Wonderful 101 only ended up selling like 100,000 copies worldwide.
It's amazing there was even 1,000 after that 100. Which is that there's nothing wrong with that game. It's just you
That
if a Rockstar like North game comes out, you get the F out of the way no matter what.
it like that it is leaving a giant crater in that sort of last week of October. I think the next major thing that comes out after it's either Let's Go, Pokemon Let's Go, or either Hitman or Fallout, depending on where you fall on the scale there. So even Call of Duty moved up to get out of the way to make
Yeah.
sure it was out before Red Dead 2. That tells you how big that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But for me, October 12th is World Ends With You Day, so we'll we'll see how that goes. But I don't think I'll be dipping into Luigi's Mansion yet.
I wonder if the remake is going to make the game more like Dark Moon at all. Just because Luigi's Mansion 1 is a good game. I guess they'll probably do a straight remake of it, but it's not the most accessible, and it's certainly aged a little bit in the 17 years since it's come out.
Yeah, which is why they're cramming it onto the 3DS.
Yeah, I
So
hope they do the same to Sunshine.
put it on 3DS. I
Yeah,
mean,
and then make people mad.
yeah, because that's what we need next year. Another remake of a 2000s Mario game on 3DS. We've already got Bowser's Inside Story. Don't think they're going to go back that far.
NSA Penguin OT asks, "Do you think GTA will come to Switch?" I say definitely not 6, whatever it is. I think 5. 60-40 chance yes. John Redden thinks it does. John
I
Redden would be surprised if it didn't come over.
I think I think they're holding off on seeing how the uptake is for the online service.
Mm-hmm.
If it succeeds at what it does, or if it sort of meets what Nintendo's goals are, that's the signal for them to turn on the GTA 5 pipe, because so much of the monetization of that game is based on GTA Online. That's I don't think there's ever been any significant new single player content beyond what that game shipped with initially.
Yeah. Let me see what this says.
Because, but yeah, I think it'd be worth it. But for the question is it worth it for 2K? Like, how did LA Noir do
Yeah.
on Switch compared to how it did with the other consoles?
Lifetime sales. Did it
Lifetime,
reach 100 million?
not yet. I think based on the fact that GTA 5 finished second in the NPDs last month, I think we see that with their next quarterly results. Like I think October we'll find out that it's crossed 100 million.
Wasn't it like the best selling? it's been the best-selling PS4 like digital store game at least 2 or 3 months in a row.
Yeah, I think after God of War, like then yeah, it's been GTA 5. Because
95 million Wikipedia says on
yeah,
GTA 5. Only
and
beaten by Minecraft at 144 and Tetris at 170 because no one beats Tetris.
yeah, that's absolutely insane because I think I'm pretty sure that GTA 5 has been the default you buy this with a new system game
Mm-hmm.
for both the PS4 and the Xbox One since it came out on those platforms,
Yeah.
which I think was what 6 months after they came out,
Mm-hmm.
last year. So yeah, I think I think because we know the game can run on sort of lower end hardware because of the PS3 and 360 versions. The question is the online does the online infrastructure support people spending money in GTA Online, and did the engine from LA Noire hold up well enough for that to work on Switch?
Right, right, right.
Also, how big a micro SD card do you think you're going to need for that game?
You'd probably need 30 to 40 gigs.
I mean, pretty sure GTA 5 was like what, 3 discs on, was it 2 or 3 discs on 360?
I don't remember.
Just for the base game, and then you had to download online.
Well, you probably just installed the base game and kept one disc in.
Yeah. It's just it was just because the 360 used like dual layer DVDs that
Mm-hmm.
I remember that being like it was a big deal that you had to basically install 2 discs worth of data just to play that game.
You know.
Mm.
All right. Last but not least, you played Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. So, oh wait. So Morphe's Law, is that out now?
That is out as of Monday.
Did anyone? You didn't play it.
No, I didn't. I
I
didn't get
didn't
a
play
chance
it
to.
either. All right.
Yeah, because I mean, it's nice that they have bot play in Morphe's Law, but that game is so dependent on its online, and my online situation. Like my Switch basically couldn't get online for 3 days.
Mm-hmm. That's not
So
good.
yeah, I'm holding off on that until we see how it holds up. Which, admittedly, that's going to cause problems because there's probably a lot of people waiting to see how the reviews go, and if the reviewers are having trouble getting games to play for review, then snowball effect and all that
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Yeah. What what's that? How'd that Monster Hunter demo treat you?
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm in because this is the first time I've really enjoyed doing because the way it works is you can pick one of 6 different styles in the demo, but I finally had an excuse to actually play with the arts,
Mm-hmm.
and some of those arts are really cool. Like they're like there's one. Usually there was one for, it's called absolute evasion, which let you get out of the way of the attacks for one of the 3 enemies you can fight. But there's I think most of the weapons have the right D-pad right art set to a berserk mode, and D-pad up to a really damaging attack, which looked really cool.
Yeah.
And I never played World, so I'm, aside from the beta test last year before it came out, so I'm still in that generation's Monster Hunter 4 mindset of, okay, I've got to go from area to area. There'll be some quick breaks. The load times weren't actually that bad. And now for the demo, they show you where the monster is all the time. So that'll be a little bit that's something I'll have to get used to for the final game. But I'm thinking, I think it's been long enough since I played 4 that I think I'm ready to get back in.
Okay. Yeah,
'Cause-
I played the original Generations when it came out, and I it's kind of a bloated game. I felt compared to 4, which I felt like nailed things kind of perfectly. But after Monster Hunter World, I played it and I was like, yeah, this is good. The mechanics are great, but I don't necessarily know if the campaign was doing it for me. I'm open to trying Generations Ultimate if it reviews well. Do you know what's how close? I wonder how close we are to having a review on the site.
I think we're probably going to have something or first of next week. It should be. We should have at least something review content wise before the game before launch, and we do have a couple of videos on this channel showing from our reviewers showing how it's playing.
Very good. Very good. All right, I think that covers it for all the news this week, Donald.
Yeah.
Was there anything else?
Just this is probably more up my alley, but the first two Grandia games have been announced for Switch release in Japan. It's going to be published by Gung Ho Entertainment, and their North American branch has acknowledged these things are happening. Plus, Grandia 1 is coming to Steam, which I can count the number of games that are Japan only on Steam on one hand. So we're probably going to see both of those on Switch at some point.
Yeah.
And that's mid. So we're getting they're basically roundup remakes of the first one. First game was originally Saturn, and the second one was Dreamcast. They're 2D action RPGs with a battle system that Child of Light would go on to rip off.
Okay. There's a little bit more news then. Child of Light, that one was that just announced for Switch? That and Valiant Hearts are both coming over, right?
Yeah, they'll both be out. I think Child of Light will be out in October, and then Valiant Hearts is in November. Which, well, Valiant Hearts in November, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that does make perfect sense. Okay. Well, at least even if Battlefield didn't come over, at least we're getting some World War I game.
Yeah.
I think that'll do it for our show. Thank you very much for listening. You can go to NintendoWorldReport.com to read all kinds of great Nintendo content. You can go to this channel, Nintendo World Report TV on YouTube, to watch the show live every week, and also see all kinds of great video content of video games. You can check us out on iTunes at Nintendo News Report. And yeah, I think that'll do it. Follow Donald on Twitter at DonaldMick, DonaldDmick. Follow me on Twitter at CULAFIA, patreon.com/NWR. And what were you going to say, Donald?
Well, I was just going to throw a cheap in there for the Patreon.
Oh, cheap. Patreon.com/NWR. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Bye.